What's up everybody, it's Instructor Smiley. Thank you guys for clicking in this video. This is going to be the last video of the year. Most of you guys will watch it tomorrow or whenever, sometime in 2023. And this last year was great. A lot of things happened, a lot of new gun owners, and I decided that I want to make a series, kind of a Q&A to respond to people that have questions, especially common questions that are asked a lot. I want to give you guys the answer, or give you guys a place to find the answer. So this is going to be that place. Not just new shooters, new gun owners, new everybody that is welcoming or coming into the 2A community. So again, thank you guys for clicking the video. I'm Instructor Smiley, and we're going to jump right into it. So like I mentioned, a lot of new shooters this year. With that being said, there's a ton of common questions that I have gathered from myself, other instructors out there, to articulate and explain the best or the most general answer for that question. A lot of these questions are going to be things that you can answer quickly, or something that you can kind of dive down the rabbit hole and find way more information on. So we'll go ahead and get started with question number one. What gun should I buy? This has to be one of the most common questions that I've received and other instructors received too. And it's a good question. It's just a question that, again, dives you into a rabbit hole. Coming into the 2A, there's a lot of people that have a bias, and they will say, oh, get this gun because of that reason, or get that gun because of that reason. Well, at the end of the day, the gun that you buy is going to be based off of you. So here's my suggestion. Go into a gun store, pick up a gun. When you pick up a gun, it should feel right. And I know that's really, really general and really not articulate, but when you pick it up, it should feel good in your hand, shouldn't feel too heavy, shouldn't feel too light, shouldn't feel fragile, shouldn't feel bad, right? When you pick it up, you should say, dang, this feels good, I enjoy this, I like this. From there, go ahead and shoot it. If you've never shot a gun before, try and pay for a private lesson on the range and let them know that you like to try out multiple guns, and from there, go on. Buying your first gun or buying a gun is going to be something that you definitely want to make sure you don't regret, or something that you're not going to want to sell later, because selling guns is not the most easy process to do. So you want to make sure you buy it, you're going to keep it, you're not going to get rid of it. I always suggest, like I said, testing them out, asking people. For you guys that are in the 2A, if a friend asks you, give them options. Don't just say Glock is the way to go. Shout out to my Glock fanboys. It's something that we do because we know Glock is a good gun, but not everybody is a fan of it. Smith & Wesson's a phenomenal gun. CZ, SIG, Walther. There's a plethora of companies out there making good quality firearms. So if there's anything to take away from what gun should I buy, it's go in there, test it out. With that being said, I want to pull gender out of this. There's a huge stigma in the community right now where women will go into a store and say, hey, I want a gun. And the very first thing the guy behind the counter is going to do is give you the smallest, prettiest gun. It's going to be Tiffany blue or pink. Take that away. Here's the thing about those guns. One, they're typically not made the best. Two, small guns does not equate to easier to shoot. In fact, smaller guns are actually harder to shoot for new shooters. There's a lot that goes into shooting, and the fundamentals are typically not there. And when you're shooting a smaller gun, you have to be more in tune with the fundamentals to shoot it accurately and correct. So do not grab the small gun. Leave it alone. Find something. Tell them you want a compact gun, right? Something, or a full size. You know, get the idea of what a full size duty gun is, or something that a cop may carry, or military. Something larger, right? No small guns. You'll know if it's a small gun. If you pick up the gun and there's no gun past the bottom of your hand, it's a small gun. If you pick up the gun and your hand is larger than the gun, it's a small gun. Leave the small guns away. For those of you out there that do have the idea, that are like, oh, I am a woman, I don't want a man's gun, that's not a thing, right? There's no women guns. There are companies that cater guns that are slightly easier to use, because some of the mechanical features are a lot less than your standard guns, which I guess you could call it the women's market, but it's not a thing. Women's guns are not a thing, they're all guns. So definitely go try them out. That's question one. Question two is, how often should I practice? So this question right here is going to be dependent on the type of person you want to be with your gun. If you want to be someone that's proficient, that gets behind that gun and has no doubt about missing their target, they don't think they're going to miss their target at all, they know they're going to hit their target every time under every circumstance, you want to practice or dry fire, which is firing with no ammunition, just working the mechanical and the fundamental pieces in your home. You want to dry fire 3 to 5 times a week, 30 to 40 minutes. That's the high end. That's like, you want to kill it every single time. If you're someone who just wants to be able to get behind the gun, know what they're doing, not feel scared, a lot of people go ahead and purchase guns and then they're fearful of them because they're not comfortable with them. I highly suggest at a minimum, I won't give you guys a middle, I'll give you the max, I'll give you the minimum. At a minimum, you should be messing or handling your firearm without ammo once a week. Clearing it out or unloading it, dry firing it 1 time a week, minimum. You guys should be hitting the range minimally once a month on the minimum end, like the least you should go. Go to the range, shoot 100 rounds at home once a week, unload it. Just practice unloading it, practice reloading it, practice your trigger squeeze, your fundamentals, practice your grip, so on and so forth. Maximum, as much as you want, right? A lot of people go to the range every week. If you have the funds and the time for it, go every week. It's not gonna do anything but make you a better shooter, a better gun handler. That's what you want. So minimum, 1 time a week, dry fire, handling the gun, once a month at the range. Maximum, you guys go ahead and do that. That's how often you should be practicing. Hope that answered a question for some of you guys out there. Where to find training? All right, so there's a ton of companies that are offering training right now. This is probably the best time to learn how to shoot a gun because there's 1 million instructors in America, and I'm probably not even joking. There's probably there's a ton of them out there. So you can find them anywhere. Here's where I would start. So USCCA and the NRA are 2 large firearms companies that have a lot of different avenues. One avenue or one area that they focus on is firearms training. USCCA, if you go to their website, type it in, you can find everywhere from beginners classes to self-defense, home defense, so on and so forth. And I believe the NRA is the same way. The USCCA portal, or when you go on their website, it'll allow you to see what instructors are in your area. They make it very, very simple for you, and all the details are in there. If you do not feel like going, or you want to start somewhere local first, your local firing range typically will have 1 or 2 individuals in there that are really versed at coaching. I won't call them instructors because some of the time they don't want to have that title or hold that title, but they can coach you and they can teach you the fundamentals of firing. They can teach you how to unload a gun, the safety rules, so on and so forth. So you guys can either start at your local range or you can go on one of the larger sides of USCCA NRA. Once you've learned how to shoot, you're gonna want to surpass and continue your training. So you might look into home defense or carrying concealed. At that point, you can kind of just look around and start vetting your instructors. At that point in time, your instructor should be able to give you a lot of information before you pay for that class, and there's a ton of them. Another place you can go to look is my sister's Keeper's Defense. On her website, she has a huge catalog of firearms instructors across the country. I'm pretty sure she has one in each state, and even some of the larger states like Texas, California, the Carolinas, there's even sub-cities where they have instructors. Couple instructors I know off the top of my head. If you go to Missouri, I believe you have T&S Solutions. If you're in Massachusetts, you have the Don Firearms. If you're in South Carolina, you have Barber Training Solutions. There's a ton. So you guys can definitely look at those people, check them out. That's where you're gonna find training at. Online, on Instagram, on Facebook, local firearms instructors. And you guys should be able to get the basics. I highly suggest as a brand new shooter, taking one of the USCCA classes or the NRA classes. They're broken down for new shooters and they kind of cater to new shooters so you don't get way more knowledge than you need. You get exactly the amount you need so you can take home practice, so on and so forth. Caliber is next. So this is another topic like what gun should I buy first? It's a rabbit hole. I'm gonna just tell you 9mm. 9mm is affordable. You get the magazine capacity you want. You have the technology. There's so much that goes into picking a caliber, but generally 9mm is the way to go. A lot of people are carrying it. The military's adopted it. A lot of law enforcement agencies are using it. It is a solid round to have or use. People will get into the super deep technicalities as far as ballistics or shooting through windshields, so on and so forth. If you're not worried about that, go 9mm. If you are worried about being able to shoot through a windshield or ballistics on a human, do your research. Look and see if you want 9mm. Look and see if 40 or 45 is better for you. Those are 2 other calibers if you're not familiar. If you're someone that doesn't like 9mm because of whatever reason, you want to go down, look at 380. And just do your research on the caliber. Again, general, making it narrow for you, 9mm is the general way to go. So I hope that answers it. If you guys have questions on caliber, feel free to reach out to me and I can answer it or go more in depth. Last question is gonna be cheap versus expensive. This is a question that gets asked a lot, but people aren't really sure. So what I'm gonna do is break it into 3 categories. By price, you have your 0 to 300. All right, 0, you're not gonna find a gun for 0, but we'll start 0 to 300, 300 to 600, 600 plus. All right, that's the easy way for me to break it down so I can continue explaining. Anything from 0 to 300, typically, unless you're right at that 300 mark, is going to be pretty bad. It's not going to be ergonomical, so it's not going to feel good in your hand. The parts are probably going to be cheap. The gun is probably going to fail on you, which means it's not going to shoot. Will it shoot sometimes? Yes, but I guarantee you don't want a gun that's sometimes. That's like saying, will my car drive sometimes? You don't want that. You don't want to waste your time there. So I do not suggest anything, again, I repeat, anything from the 0 to 300 category. Now, when you step into category 2, 300 to 600, there's a lot of options here. You have Smith & Wesson, you have CZ, you have some Glocks depending on who you are and where you live, some SIGs. There's a lot, Walther, a lot of guns in that, and I'm probably forgetting some FN, Ruger, a lot of guns in that $300 to $600 range. A gun that I suggested to so many people outside of my bias. If you know me, I'm a Glock fanboy, die hard, right? Slowly walking over to SIG side, but I love my Glock. So I used to suggest Glock, and then I realized, you know what? Let me take my bias out of it. As a new shooter, what do I wish somebody would have suggested? And it would be the CZ P10C. Again, this is the CZ P10C. That's the model number, and that is the gun and the company. This gun, a couple years ago, you could find it for about $326 is the cheapest, maybe $310 is the cheapest that I saw it. Phenomenal gun. I typically call it the Glock killer because it has everything it needs and then some to compete with the Glock, and it's just more ergonomical and better as far as upgrades than the Glock right out of the box. Phenomenal gun, CZ P10C. It was $310. Right now, I bet you can find it anywhere from mid 300s to low 500s. I don't think you'll find one more expensive than 500. Haven't done my research because I haven't sold mine. This is one of the guns that I've had for a very long time. Don't plan on selling it anytime soon. It's one of the best guns on the market. But without that being said, you have the Smith & Wesson M&P series. You have the Glock 19. You have the Glock 17s. You have the FN 509. You have the SIG 320. You have the SIG P365. Tons of guns in that range. I think a 365 right now, just the base model, is a little bit more into the 600 plus range, which brings you to your category 3. If your budget is over $600, the world is yours. You can go test every gun, you can go find every gun you want, but understand that you still need to do the research to make sure that gun is right for you. It feels good. Don't just go with the Glock 17 or a Glock 19 because everybody and their mother carries one and everybody had one. Make sure it's right from you. Some people hate the grip angle on the Glock, so they go for the CZ with the 1911 grip angle, which may be me speaking Spanish to you right now because you're a new shooter, but pick it up, feel it, compare them, see what you like, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you get to that point. Anything, like I said, 0 to 300, they're just not there. 3 to 600, that's your budget. Save up for that. Expect to spend around that. 600 plus, go out there, shoot them all, figure out which one you want, and send it. That's all the questions that I have today. It's about 5 of them. I hope I answered somebody's question for someone. If you guys have any other questions, drop them below. You may see it in another video later. Again, thank you guys for all the support in 2022. A lot of stuff going on. I have a lot of videos and stuff planned for 2023. More tips coming, shooting tips, reviews, all of that. So I want to say thank you to you guys, my subscribers. Thank you to people that sponsor the channel and help this channel grow. So shout out to Faxon Firearms, shout out to Obsidian Tactics, shout out to Wilder Tactical, Swampfox Optics, Neomag, FDEZ Werx, Icarus Precision. You guys are amazing. If I forgot any of you guys, my apologies. Anybody that supported the channel at all, I'm going to drop a link below. I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, go ahead and message me on here or drop a comment. If you want to message me directly, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. It's @Parallel Defense. I'll drop a link below. And you guys have a good one. Thank you.